the work that you see in the gallery now is really the result of me going back and thinking about the most beautiful time of my life, which was when I was free of any responsibility of a family, money, work, and looking at my very first concert that I went to, which was the Stones in 1972, June 9th at the Coliseum. And I had a ticket. I was in grade 9, I was 16 years old. The ticket was $15. And I asked my dad if he would give me some extra money so I could buy a souvenir. He was, of course, you'd hear the same thing, oh, like, dirty, they're drug infested, I don't want you even going to that show. So I went and made myself my own t-shirt for that concert. And when I was going through a box of kind of discarded memorabilia and my collection of Rolling Stone magazines, I came across that t-shirt, which is I was a lot thinner then. And that was kind of the impetus to start working on this present work. So I painted that shirt in the drawing on the other side of the wall. And then I started thinking about the music that I listened to in the studio over the past 26 years. And not because that the words in those songs meant any philosophical thing to me, but more about they provided a kind of a utopian background for me to make my work. The work is very complicated. Maybe it doesn't look as complicated as it is, but it's all hand painted. I do use a lot of masking tape, but I don't use stencils. There's no vinyl. It's all acrylic paint, and there's hundreds and hundreds of layers of paint on each canvas. I see the image of the piece in my head, and then I create a formula to make it happen. So there's a sense of contradiction in the way that this very precise formulaic system that I create to make these paintings, I don't really see them until they're absolutely complete, because two stripes or triangles are covered at all times, as I'm painting every second stripe. The words are from songs that I've listened to, recontextualized, to kind of speak about the relationship that we have to painting, that I have to painting, the relationship between myself and the viewer, what a viewer sees when they look at the paintings. And I know from my own experience that when we go into a museum or a gallery, do we spend more than 30 or 40 seconds looking at a painting? Usually you just kind of look at it, walk by, and leave. So I guess the challenge for me is to make it compelling, that you want to spend more than 30 seconds looking at a piece of work. And there's also a sense of frustration, because I find that people are trying to read the words, and I'm making it really difficult for you to read them because of the color relationships, the complexity of the way that some of the letters themselves are 3 colors or 4 colors or 6 colors. So there's that sense of attraction and repulsion, or aggravation and attraction, that you really want to spend, that people want to spend the time, they want to read those words and see what I'm trying to say to them. At the same time, you get very frustrated because the colors make it, the color relationships and the structure of the painting make it quite difficult to read. And I know that's done on purpose. But there is some great sense of satisfaction when you kind of trying to decipher that work. Paintings are kind of like years, and the drawings are kind of the moments of those years. Just kind of visual memories that I've had during the time that I was thinking about the concept of how these paintings are made, what they're about, and kind of that experience of 30 or 40 years ago of utopia. And that utopia, of course, was a failure, as we all know, with the Vietnam War and the collapse of the Summer of Love. And I think there is an aspect in these paintings of the beauty, but also a sense of despair, and trying to capture that moment and relive it. Which painting is about leaving a record, recording something of history, and leaving a trace. When Doug Copeland came to visit me at the studio to look at these paintings, he said they're very much like memento mori. They're speaking about our sense of mortality, of what we believe behind who we are. And I didn't think about it that way until he said it to me, but I think he's
Absolutely right.